I mean, like on Instagram and stuff, but like an actual talk. Hello, friends. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, my Wednesday live. It's a general Q&A, so definitely feel free to drop questions that you guys do have in the chat. We have a little mix of everything, some Whatnot, some Poshmark, some Melissa. You're on a lot of places, or you have been in the past, so you can speak to it.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of places, I think, right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you kind of go back and forth with like a whole bunch and then just going back down. And then we also have Jen, the reseller as well. So I asked her to be on here because she is doing live selling without a huge social media following.
Nice.
And I want to get that perspective because you're seeing it promoted a lot by people who have social media followings, and like, can you actually make it work without having a social media following? And if y'all do not know Leslie, you are missing out. A reseller is a passion on all platforms, possibly changing. We may talk about that a little bit today, but this is a general Q&A, so do feel free to ask questions. I have a list of questions already that I want to ask, and then also that people have asked me that couldn't make it. So we'll kind of get started with those, but drop a note. Let us know who is here. Humbly Chris, if you guys don't know Humbly Chris, she's on his social media as well. I love when everyone has the same name because then they can just go find her somewhere else, and I don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's better to sell? Oh, wait, we're not getting questions yet. I want everyone, sorry, I was checking in. Cynthia's here, a new member to my channel. Welcome, Cynthia. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves. I've had everyone but Jen I've had on before, but not to say that everyone watches every single live that I have. So I'm going to have everyone go ahead. We'll start with Jen and then just kind of go around to it. Lies. Yeah. We'll start with Melissa. Oh, we can start with Jen. That's fine too. I was going to go around in a circle.
I'm good. Full disclosure, clockwise. It's fine.
I told everyone backstage, but I'm going to let you guys know too to bear with me. I have been sick. I'm slowly feeling better, but you can tell that I'm like slightly out of it on meds right now. A little cold medicine. So do bear with me. Jen, we can start with you. Go ahead, Jen. Let us know who you are.
Well, I think you might actually have me mixed up with someone else because I've never done a live. So
yeah,
I'm sorry.
A live sale?
No.
Oh.
See, what did I tell y'all? I'm out of it. Well, welcome. Tell us who you are. Talk about it.
Never a dull moment.
I am a new reseller. I've only been reselling for just over a year now. So
maybe that's what I was thinking. Guys, bear with me. So we're getting a different perspective in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Leslie was saying she's just kind of phasing out a little and being a little different, and I'm just kind of jumping into it. So it's been a lot of fun. I just started part-time to kind of help my family's budget, and I'm a homeschool mom, so I have a lot of stuff going on, but it's been so much fun. So much fun.
What platforms are you on? Jen, I am so sorry. You should have come.
Okay. I'm not worried about it.
I'm getting hot.
I am on eBay. Started on eBay. My mom sold on eBay like years ago, so that's kind of why I started there. And honestly, I didn't even know what Poshmark was until I started following YouTubers. Mm-hmm. So I cross-list to Poshmark, but I sold 12 items on Poshmark last month. So
what kind of stuff do you sell?
What kind of stuff? Clothes, mostly. Shoes, purses.
It's interesting that you started with eBay.
Yeah.
Poshmark is definitely easier, especially if you're doing it like part-time with kids at home. eBay's better if you ask me. And it's harder. So if you figured it out, like, you're golden. It's just interesting because a lot of people kind of as a side with fashion and stuff.
Yeah. I don't think that it's hard. eBay is easy, but I think it's because I started on eBay. It makes it feel a little easier for me.
Yeah. And once you get it down, especially if that's all you know, then it's probably pretty easy, right? And once you learn it, it's definitely pretty easy, but it can be overwhelming. And now Melissa and Leslie, I'm going to let y'all fight for it. You guys know each other. There's no roundabout way to go now.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Okay, fine. I'll go. My name is Melissa, also known as the Thrifty Broad. I'm pretty much the Thrifty Broad across all platforms. I sell on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and I went back to Etsy. I'm now listing again on Etsy. And that's basically it. I'm full-time. I've been reselling since 2017, and I've been full-time since 2019. And yeah, that's all I do.
Good stuff. So I was, first of all, I say congratulations to Jen. Welcome to the world of reselling. And yes, I stayed at home with 5 children and homeschooled. So that was back
Awesome.
when, so that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, so my name is Leslie. I am known as a reseller's passion on all across social media. I have a podcast, I have a YouTube. I'm very active with my community on Instagram. I am, it was alluded to, I'm a reworker's passion on Whatnot. And also, I just changed my name on TikTok. That is probably the only places I will change. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the reworking, I do a lot of DIYs and tutorials.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes hand in hand with what I'm trying to do. But I want to maintain my community and not confuse them. So I have already, Instagram already has seen that
There's
evolution.
been like a slow progression.
Yes.
It's not like
So
a quick flip, right?
Exactly. So I wasn't doing anything quick because technically I'm still making things and selling them. So that is reselling. It's just doing what I did in the beginning. Like Melissa says, she sells on Etsy. Etsy was actually my first selling platform. I crocheted. I started in 2005. I got into reselling because I married a reseller. And like Jen was saying, she sold on eBay first. When I met my husband, he was selling on eBay and Amazon, but I was working full time. I was like, yeah, give me something kind of easy. And Poshmark filled that. But then I did go and sell on eBay and Macari and all over. So I now only sell on a couple platforms. I have a website that's a reseller's passion. I have Poshmark, and we can talk about that later. And that's it. I closed my eBay store. I'm no longer on Etsy because I'm transitioning down. I'm 53 and I want to enjoy as much as I can. And handmade helps me have fun and make money is what I started doing years ago.
So you're doing mostly live sales right now, right? Or like, what do you think that split out is?
I am doing mostly live sales. The main reason I'm doing that is I actually said that I'm moving. So last year when I moved into a rental because people keep saying you're moving again. I moved from Delaware to North Carolina. There was no way I was going to buy a house and not know what my area was like. So that was conditional for my husband. I'd have to rental. So we moved into a rental. But before I moved here, I did 35 live sales on Instagram. I wish that Whatnot and Posh were options for me then, but I did them on my own, and they were a way for me to liquidate some items, and that was really my goal. So for Posh sales, that is what I'm focusing on right now as well. Anything that I've accumulated in the year and a half that I've been here, or things that I'm not interested in selling anymore, right? So it gets we have to kind of figure out where we fit in, right? If it's too much, scale back, take a little bit of time. And I really wrote myself a business plan and just kind of set and said, you know what? I'm ready for it. I'm 53. My youngest is 20 years old. Let's start figuring out where I can transition, but still have fun. And keep in mind, I'm an entrepreneur more than I'm a reseller. That's a percentage of what I've done, what I'm doing. So I'm happy just to kind of wait and see what happens. And the live sales have been really great. First on Whatnot, and then now splitting that time between Whatnot and Posh shows.
So I'm going to ask one more question of this, and then we can get in because I know not everyone else does live sales, and we already have a slew of questions. But I'm interested because I haven't. Posh live sales are new. If you guys are, I know most of you know that, but people watching, and it's like a beta test, so not everyone can do it. And I've yet to talk to anyone who has done Whatnot and live sales. So I want to kind of pick your brain, Leslie, a little bit on the differences that you're noticing. Obviously, Posh is new.
Yes.
Posh is not new, but the live sales are new. So there's going to be some differences there. But if you can kind of just quickly talk about a little bit of the differences, y'all know I'm a numbers person. So I'm thinking like differences, are things selling the same? Are you getting higher price? Like what's kind of the audience difference and like all of that, not necessarily the technical, like setting things up.
And that is actually a whole different thing as well. Well, for me, and this is what I tell people, Whatnot, if people don't know, it is a live selling app, and it started off with, cards and comics and sneakers and vintage tees. That was the group. And then last year they brought on the fashion. And so I will say a 50% negative is that a lot of the sellers are resellers, that they have not gotten in the influx of just regular customers. So resellers are buying from each other and things like that. Unless you're like a quote unquote large reseller that has an audience, it's going to be a challenge for you. What's different for me is I bring something different to the table. I am a handmade seller, and I've learned how to um, bring in my handmade business. Like I said, in August and September, I totally 100% took off of social media. I didn't post anything, maybe to my stories, just to kind of say, here I am, hi. But I literally took off and I studied whatnot, like what times work for me, what items work for me, how to get a community kind of going. And so I literally built a community. My first show was July 29th, the past summer. And I already have 1,000 sales. I hit that in October. I have over 2,000 followers, and I just went on and just kind of build a community, and I do like DIYs and create shows. So I'm one out of my 1,000 sales, about 200 were regular items. I did like some liquidation sales, but all the 800 other items are handmade earrings, tie-dye shirts, bleach shirts, that kind of thing. So I think if you want to be successful and you're not strictly a reseller, then you have to come and do something different. My like Humbly Chris, who's here, she does bangles. We have a community that works together. And my friend Wendy sews, and my friend Courageously Thriving, Michelle, she has jewelry, and we help each other. And I shout them out in all my shows. Anytime I buy from any seller, I wear their items. I do a story. So I built community the same way I did on Instagram. So I think for resellers is a really big challenge. The majority of my income from July to October came from Whatnot, and I made really decent money. But again, I can't compare what I'm doing because, so now I started my live shows on Posh. I will say I was in the original beta. I did my onboarding at the end of August. I was supposed to have my first show on September 26th, but I was very hesitant because of the things that I had gotten spoiled over on Whatnot, bundling, discounted shipping, cloning my items. That technical issue is really important.
Yes.
But also, those things kind of held me back. And I said, you know what? Let me do it. I literally only had my first Posh show this past Thursday, but I've had 6 since then, and I've sold over 150 items, and I've made like close to $2,000. Like, so
is the volume like similar? I mean, that sounds like a lot.
I have more volume on Posh because I have over 200,000 followers. So I've been on Posh, it'll be 7 years. So I hadn't even posted anything on social media. Like I went in because I didn't know how I would feel about it. I don't know if people can relate to that. So I didn't
want to hype it up if you're going to be like, oh,
and I just want to casually go in. I just wanted to casually go in, and like if people are already following you, they get a notification. I mean, they get a notification, and I just didn't let anybody know, and I still don't, just because I just want to get in and do like I did on Whatnot, figure out what time works for me. Sarah's been on, you can't. Sometimes you can't just hop on.
It's interesting that you say this because we're going to get to the questions. I promise. I promise. I know y'all aren't
I don't want to take over the whole chat.
Yeah, it's me too, because I'm starting the live sales and I'm trying to like figure it out. And there's not a lot of people that are doing it. So like having someone you can chat with. It's interesting that you said like on Whatnot, it's a lot of resellers. And so I've done 2 on Posh, and I have promoted it on my social media. My social media is teaching people how to resell. So my social media is resellers.
Right.
And so people who are coming are resellers. So I'm actually messing with not promoting it and not doing resellers, and see if I can't get a higher price, because I think they're coming in for inventory. And some will see like, oh, this is really cute and I'll buy it, but my average sale price is actually pretty low. I'm going to stop it there, Leslie. Maybe we'll have like a live. I thought today was going to be a live. Clearly I had too much Dayquil earlier and don't know who was on my channel. So maybe we'll have a live
reselling.
do it. And Jen's new to reselling in general. So she's not doing it either. So let's jump on and do some questions. Unless you guys, Melissa or Jen, if you had anything to add to the live sale conversation, if you've been asked to do it, if you want to do it, if you don't have any interest in it.
I'm indifferent right now to it. I mean, I have access to Whatnot, and I did schedule a show, but then I got COVID when I went to England. And so when I came back, I was like, no.
Yeah.
So I canceled it. And I think I applied for Poshmark. And so I'm waiting for Poshmark because I think I'll just make more money there if I do it at all. So
I feel like I'm actually surprised. I mean, that makes sense why you're not doing it, but I'm actually surprised that you don't, because you like to me, the bottleneck is the inventory, and you tend to have a lot of inventory, and you're on social media, right? So I think a lot of people's bottleneck is like, I don't want to be in front of a camera, but you're comfortable with that, and you have a lot of inventory. And typically, correct me if I'm wrong and speaking out of line here, from what I remember in following you, your cost of goods tends like you're more of a bin shopper, right? So like you have a
I'm
so
100% bins now.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to speak out of turn because y'all, I'm
it's
obviously
fine.
out of it today. And I don't know if maybe you changed some strategies since the last time we like talked more on a personal level. So I think I'd be interested to see, like, keep us posted. I'm sure you will.
Well, I think the main reason why I don't is because I have anxiety disorder. Like I've had that since I was a little girl. And so I take medication for it, but I still get very anxious on things like that if I'm by myself. Like that's why I don't do lives on my channel anymore, because it's too much anxiety for me to be the host, but be on your channel. I don't have that anxiety, doesn't exist when I'm on your channel or somebody else's. But when I'm hosting it, is a huge amount of anxiety for me. So I think that's why I'm not really doing it right now.
I get that. And it is weird by yourself. Like I do lives by myself sometimes, but it's so weird. Like I'm much better in talking with other people. I don't have anxiety disorder, so I can't speak to that, but it is much more comfortable. And then when you're like on, it's definitely a different setting for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We do have Melissa. Jen. Oh my God. Y'all bear with me. If you're just tuning in, I'm sick. I'm like taking meds, like bear with me.
Don't worry. We love you anyway.
And I still have Humbly Chris up there because Leslie was talking about her. Do you have anything to say about live sales?
Well, I have two reasons that I'm really not doing them. And you've mentioned one is inventory. I don't have the space to store that much stuff. And I don't have easy access to the bins. Because I think that would be fantastic. The other thing is I feel like I'm still learning. And so I feel like I still need to spend the extra time I have pouring into eBay and now Poshmark as I'm adding that to learn those things before I add something else to also learn.
That's smart.
And I would agree too, because I think it is in talking and doing a couple. I think it's not reselling. It's reselling, but it's building a social media as well. And for most of the social media influencer resellers that I've talked to, it's a completely different audience, right? Like that I'm finding out, and I'm contemplating, do I even want to like deal with trying to build a whole new audience or not? Okay, let's get to some questions, friends. This is a Q&A. It's also my show, so I'm gonna ask some questions too. So howdy, ladies. Sarah and ladies, no guys allowed in the show. That was in the question. So what's better to sell?
Hi, Duncan. No, just kidding.
Hello, Duncan. What's better to sell on eBay or whatnot? So I think the only person Leslie I think we've kind of touched on that. I don't know if anybody wants to touch on it a little bit more. Leslie's the only one who's qualified.
I just think it's really depends on what you want to sell and how fast. If you want to sell something fast, and like Sarah said, if you don't mind getting in front of the camera and building community, I'm big on community. That's like, I can talk to anybody. I can talk to a rock and make it talk back to me. So it's like, I don't have an issue with that. But eBay is a whole nother animal. I think that like Sarah if Duncan, you already know, you watch Sarah. She's got
Duncan taught me how to eBay. He's asking these questions to get us.
Yeah, I know, Duncan. We go way back.
Yeah.
So, but like, so you already know that they're two different vehicles. And I think that if you want to, if you like Melissa, if you don't have anxiety and you have a lot of inventory, you can come on any time of the day and you just throw Lululemon in the comments and you've got, 100 people in there. And as long as you're comfortable on the camera. But now if you want, you have your cost of goods and how you source and everything, then eBay is the way to go. And if you don't need it to sell so fast, I think eBay is the way to go for that.
I think it's with all the platforms and everything that you do. It's just what you want to put your time and energy into.
Yep.
And
Heidi's there. Hi, Heidi.
I was just wondering why on eBay I get lots of offers $1 under asking price. Is it because they want a discount on tax?
Maybe.
Yeah.
My thought, I'll let you guys answer and then I'll say what my thought is.
I have no idea. I really don't. It's like $1. It seems so arbitrary to me, but
yeah, my thought is they don't want to pay right away. So they are sending offers that they can have so they can like hold it for the 4 days.
I got you.
Hopefully eBay said that they're changing that, but they also said at last eBay Open they were changing it. And
well, I think they have been. They said they've been rolling buyers over because it's on them, not us. Yes. So
Right.
Yeah.
And they did say in talking, I mean, I've been talking with eBay. I've had the opportunity to talk, with some of the higher ups at eBay this past year. And they went pretty hard in the beginning of the year. And I have a video on it, but they went pretty hard in the beginning of the year. And I'm going to say the numbers wrong, but this is for the purpose of you guys can understand. Let's say they have 5% of buyers who don't pay. And as they were rolling it out, they were losing 7% of people.
Wow.
And so for buyers or for sellers, right, they're watching figuring out the kinks and how to make it work so they're not losing more buyers than they don't have people who do offers. Because it sucks because everywhere else that you go, but eBay has
immediate pay everywhere.
It is, but eBay's built that culture, and these people have been on eBay for 20 years and are used to not having to do it, that you have to friendly.
Yeah. I mean, I've basically not threatened like bodily harm or anything, but like saying, like with factual information, like if I have to open an unpaid seller thing, you will get a ding. I have to do it to get my seller fees back. And B, I will block you from my store in the future. So, and then they pay.
Yeah.
Well, this is hardcore.
I'm hardcore. I'm like, no, I will send Guido.
But it's annoying because you have to do it. And fortunately, they've set it up where they automatically cancel and relist it for you after 4 days, which is so helpful because that's less time consuming.
Mine never works.
Yeah, mine doesn't do that either.
Mine hasn't worked ever.
Yeah, super geeked. I remember those days too, like the check back in the day.
Mine works. Okay, so everyone's asking Duncan again. If y'all don't know, Duncan taught me how to eBay, so he's asking these questions to have a good conversation going, which I appreciate. So if everyone wants to give one reselling tip.
Well, I'll start.
Yeah, you start.
Checking comps and sell-through rate. That I think is key.
When you're buying inventory.
Yes, Yep.
So how do you do that? People who are new, like what's your process?
So I just use eBay because that's what I sell on. I search the item that I'm finding and I see how many are listed, and then I filter through what has sold, and then I find out how many have sold. I divide the number that have sold by the total number of both the sold and available, and that's my sell-through rate percentage. And then I just check how much the items have actually sold for, because people can list things for hundreds of dollars, but if they're only selling for 30, then.
So as a part-time new seller checking the comps, kind of what's your threshold when you're out? Are you thrifting? Like, how are you? I mean, you don't have to give us all your detail, like all your secrets, but
I have no secrets. I am not great at checking comps. I'm learning that. That's I think that's been key in building my business. But my threshold's about 25%. I go for 50 or what other people would call 100, where it's even with solds and solds and available. But I've been also known to buy things even though the sell-through rate is bad. Just because I feel like it's cool, or when I go to the bins, I feel like I have to save all the things. And
that's a struggle. And I think it's a great tip for new resale for all of us, I think, actually, because it is hard when you're out there and you're like, but it might, and I want to, especially at the bins, I struggle with that as well. Melissa, it looks like you're wanting to
well, I wanted to kind of add to that because yes, while that is important, there's been so many times where I've gotten something that had an abysmal sell-through rate and I sold it within a day or a week, and it's like it's all about where you price it as well. So if it doesn't have a high sell-through rate, but you think it might be a desirable item, if you price it less, then you'll probably sell it faster. And so that's what I've learned over the years as well, because I don't really look up sell-through rates at all. Like I don't actually care about them, and I probably am a bad reseller for saying that. But I've been doing this long enough that I know what brands I could get.
I'm trying to point to you and say that's what it is, and now I'm just distracting everyone. When you've been doing it long enough, you don't have to. And I think I'm glad that Jen's here telling us, because in the very beginning, you don't have that natural instinct.
Yes.
I don't want to say natural instinct because it's not natural. It's
well, it's
a been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
You build like an intuition for it. Like you can look at an item and you're like, oh, you know what? I think this will be a good item. And you just kind of go off your gut feeling. You bring it home, you photograph it, and it sells in a day, and it's great. So
Yeah,
But
especially if it's something like a vintage item or something, because you find something vintage and it's vintage. You're probably not going to be able to find comps or anything like that because
Which
it's
is hard to do vintage.
yeah,
and
you
really
get
there isn't comps for vintage.
yeah, exactly. And you get it home and you're like, whoa, that sucker sold. So my advice is always to newer sellers, basically starting at the beginning, start where you are with what you have. And that's like going through your house. Like we get on the YouTube and we hear, like, you can hear us talking. And you're like, oh, I'm going to the thrift store. What's the bins? And it's like so overwhelming. But if you start in your home, and especially if you're a parent, you go through everybody. You start with you, your spouse, your children, your pet stuff you bought for your pets that didn't sell. And I've done this. This is what I'm going to be doing. I go through all my drawers because I'm a crafter. I sell stuff in bundles. And it doesn't really matter where you sell because every platform now just about has a home category or toys or whatever. So start right in your own home. And the comping for those items should be simple because you know what you already paid for those items. You know where you purchased them at, right? Gift registry or something like that. Like my stepdaughter's about to have a baby in her gift registry, and I'm looking at everything like, oh my gosh, this stuff. So when she goes to sell that baby chair that the baby can no longer fit in, she has an idea of like what she could probably sell it for. So start right where you are. Don't overwhelm yourself and start with about 10 to 20 items just to kind of get you started. Don't worry about what people say 50 or anything like that. Start at your level in your time. If you're home with children, work around that and don't stress yourself out.
Yes. Yes. Melissa, do you have another? I mean, I know you spoke to Jen's a little bit, but if you have another.
I have two.
Okay. Yeah.
Be consistent because that's something I'm horrid at and I'm getting better at it. I'm actually much better than I used to be. And have an inventory system because if you can't find it, you can't send it. So
Yes.
do it right away. Even with 10 items, do it right away.
Exactly.
So this consistent thing is I do a call on Fridays with Anna, and something that we have talked about is consistency. And her background's very interesting. And so she was like, but what is consistency? And I was like, ooh, that's a good question because it's different
for everyone.
For everybody. And in the community, if you have watched or read or anything, everyone's going to tell you consistency.
Yes.
But then it's like, what does that? So I'm interested, Melissa, what that actually is looking like for you, because I know you deal with like some health problems, and so you can't always do work every single day. And like, so what is that looking like for you?
Well, I'm trying to work out a system where I actually get more done in the day than I need to actually post in the day. I want to stick with 20 items every day, 5 days a week. I don't post anything new over the weekend, and I don't think eBay cares because I've been fine. So I've been doing the promoted plus 2%, or the suggested plus 2%, which is we're working out better now. I lost my train of thought.
Oh, you're working more. You're
trying to do more. So if I'm trying to like photograph 30 items, but only post 20 of them. So I have like a stockpile of extra. So if I do have a day where my hands flare up because I have inflammatory arthritis, which is autoimmune disorder. And so sometimes I can't bend my hands for like half a day or I can't grip anything or I can't hold a cup of coffee. It sucks. But it is what it is. But yeah, if I have the days, I just take the days off sometimes and then just work a different day that I wasn't going to work anyway. So that's really how I deal with it a lot. But
which is very similar to mine's children. That causes my issues. All my issues. I'm sick because of my child who's in preschool. Well, he's in kindergarten with preschoolers, and they're just so gross. So like we just get I volunteer in his classroom and I read but every single one of them are like snotty and like cough in your face.
Those kids are gross.
It's gross.
They're not yours.
right. I'm like, anyway, I'm like, I miss the 6 feet social distancing. I don't know what to say. Oh, but I do similar. I bank as well. So like I took yesterday off and it stressed me out a little bit just because I know things that I wanted to get done this week, but I still shipped. I still listed my 12 for the day. I still like everything. And I am like a month ahead because I take like I'm taking the week off for Thanksgiving. My kids are out of school break for 3 weeks in Christmas. So like I'm taking but I'm still working. So I have to get like 3 weeks worth of a bank ready. And then the summer I take off and everything. My tip, and if you guys follow my channel, I probably can guess what I'm going to say. These are all great tips. New, you figure it out, learn how to list, check your comps and stuff. But once you get to the point where you're really wanting to start to make money, you got to know your data, your tools, your analytics, and your processes. This is what is going to level you up, even if you're like part-time. Like Melissa said, if you can't find the item, you can't sell it. And if you can get your shipping, like I was sick yesterday. I didn't want to get out of bed, but it takes me 2 minutes an item to ship. I easily shipped my 10 items or however many, I don't know how many I had yesterday, but I did it in like 15 minutes because I was, it helps me stay consistent, getting those processes down. And if you ever want to get bigger, you have to have processes that other people can do. And so having those processes, or even if it's like, hey, I'm going on vacation, I want someone to ship for me, or a virtual assistant, right? So the processes, and then knowing your data and your analytics and how to use, I'm talking more to eBay because Poshmark doesn't have a lot of these, but how to increase your sales without having to just buy more stuff and pay more. And right, because that's all the stuff that we're hearing a lot of the advice that we hear in the community. You can make more money with simply everything that you have in using a lot of these tools and analytics. And I'm going to go to the next question because it kind of goes off of that. Daily Refinement, which y'all know I love Chris at Daily Refinement. He's one of the big reasons that I know eBay and I'm doing well on eBay. If your average sale price is less than $20, it says if your average sale price is less than $20 plus shipping, making a full-time income on eBay is very difficult. Thoughts? What's that?
It depends entirely on what you sell.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I'm not trying to make a full-time income, so I feel like it doesn't apply to me too much.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Like with Jen, like eBay wouldn't have been, it's a combination of all the platforms. So I wasn't ever looking at eBay as being like my main. Poshmark was always my main one. And eBay was just a supplemental, right? That's an additional income for me. I agree with Melissa. It just depends on, what you're selling and how much you want to sell, that kind of stuff. But I don't do, my selling prices were higher than 20, but I agree. It depends on what you're selling.
I think it depends on what your cost of goods is. I think Victoria had said that from Super Geek. And hi, Victoria. She had said that earlier. It really depends on what you paid for the item, and how long are you willing to hold on to it, that kind of thing.
Y'all know I'm about to show a spreadsheet, so bear with me because I have one for it.
It's spreadsheet time.
Yes, because it's a numbers game. It doesn't, if you can find items that sell for $20, they have to have a high sell-through rate.
Yeah.
But you can you guys see the spreadsheet now?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is the golden formula for resellers. You can buy it on my website. So you can mess with all the numbers here. But let's say you have a $10 average sale price, 20% sell-through rate, which is probably pretty low for something that's selling at $10, depending on what you have. You want to make 15 gross revenue a month. That's just a high number to make these are all, you can make the numbers up. You need 7,500 active listings. To make this work, that's the numbers that you need. So it's completely doable. I will say the one other thing that you want to be mindful of, and I think this is something that Chris probably is pointing out as well, is processes. If you have that many, if you're selling that many, and if you're listing that many and you have that many, your processes is what's going to make or break you, because you can't. So like people who sell baseball cards, their average sale price is low. Like one of the eBay 2022, y'all bear with me, my mind is like in a fog. One of the people there is a card seller. He has 7 million listings.
Oh, dang.
But he has a full business with employees and a shop, right? And his average sale price, I think don't quote me, but it was low, right? It's baseball cards. Every once in a while you get one that's like a Michael Jordan. I don't know anything about cards, but something big, right? But most of them are selling for like under $10. It's doable. It's a numbers game. And if you're going to be in the high volume, you absolutely processes. But if you're in high volume, your shipping has to be quick. Your listing has to be quick. Like everything has to be on point.
And to your point, BFHO on eBay, she started out of her garage and she's a multi-million-dollar seller on eBay now. And she has so many, she doesn't sell for very much. Like she has some things that are higher price, but a lot of her stuff is like cheap. She's moving it really fast.
Yes. And that's the thing. And depending on what you have too, like if to Melissa's point earlier, if you have something but it's going to sit for a while, but you price it less than everybody else, it's moving. Right? So you take $3 less. but or 5 or 10 or whatever it is, but is it worth holding on to for $10, taking up space, taking up capital, taking up, right? I am like still at the very top. So if there's things that come in, you guys can feel free to comment on those. Blah, 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 blah. So we're having that conversation. And Super Geeked is saying, Super Geeked is amazing. She had that one video, and maybe she'll post it, but one of her videos like blew up. Oh, she got banned on eBay. I was like, oh,
yeah,
so good for your YouTube. Like her video.
So she got reinstated though.
Or you say banned and you're like in.
Oh, I know her video. Like I was watching it and I was like, kudos to you. Like that's I mean, I think maybe millions of views now. So not kudos for getting kicked off, but
right. Yeah.
So point in that is she is an amazing content creator. So definitely follow her. Lots of like fun thrift hauls, and she like travels around and lots of cute vintage stuff. Bread and butter is definitely, it's a volume. Like if you're going to sell low prices, it's a volume game here.
Yeah.
Do we have other questions?
I know Heidi has one down there.
Heidi has a question.
Are we getting down? I'm starting. Oh, courageously thriving. You mentioned her, and I haven't really seen her much.
Michelle is over on Whatnot. She's my bestie. Wendy, Chris, and Michelle are my best friends. So, yeah.
All right. Let's see. Yes, I think it's So we're going back to social media. I think it's monetizing social media rather than online retailing. Is how it feels, and I think she said this before, someone else on one of mine, and it is. And that's where I'm kind of like figuring out, do I want to do that or not? Is it? Yeah. It's nice to sell everything though, friends. Like,
oh, it is. It definitely is so nice to sell everything, but it's, you just got to figure out that balance. How you start may not be how you finish, but as you grow. So like I say, when I started on Whatnot, I was new. Like, no, I wasn't a reseller's passion. I actually was like Rework It Lady was my original name. And people, I would go into and say hi to people, and they were like, yeah, and I'm like, it's Leslie from. I was typing at every chat I went into, and they were like, hey, Leslie, like, about 30 followers. And then finally, just before I did my onboarding, I said, you know what, let me just change my name and that. Passion, but my little picture right there, they're like, I can see your picture, it's you. And it's a reworker's passion, same amount of letters. It's just a play on a reworker's passion. I mean, a reseller's passion. That's what I did.
People are never, ever, ever, as I just did it recently, allowed to change their profile picture, because their name will stay the same, and then they change their picture, and I'm like,
you must hate me.
Oh yes, Melissa. I'm like, and then you change your name, and I'm like, who is this person?
Yeah.
Like when I look at it, I'm like, I know it's you, but like when I'm scrolling through, I'm like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah, like I know who Melissa is, but that's the key. Yeah. So, but yeah, I just say, just you figure it out with the social.
If you are promoting high suggested plus more, is the increase in sales covering your increase in fees? It seems scary. So this is an eBay question. For those who are not on eBay, I'm just going to break it down and then we can all talk about it. You can promote your listings on eBay. You have a listing and then eBay will put it, it's like paying for their marketing, direct multimedia marketing. They put it in up to 100. I've heard various different numbers. I'm going with 100 right now. It's the last one I heard, but they'll put it up to 100 different places on eBay, direct to what people are searching for, similar to your item, similar to that maybe they purchased it in the past. Like, it's a pretty good deal. I know people don't want to pay more for it, but like I've looked into it for social media privately, and it's way more expensive than eBay's charging us for it. Anyway, so you can pay to promote. Promoted listing standard is you pay if it sells that way, and you can pick a rate. So Heidi's asking, it's Heidi, right? Y'all, I'm in a
it's Heidi.
It's Heidi.
She never changes her picture, so that's how I remember her.
I know, and her name's the same, but then I was like, well, maybe I'm saying her name wrong. So she's asking if you promote it, so you can do like a suggested, which is like trending what other people in your category are promoting it at, and then you can add to it. Is it increasing your sales, and then is this covering your fees? So if you guys want to answer those on eBay.
Well, I'll start. I think it does mine. I'm also what do you call it? Something plus. The top rated seller plus. Yeah. So I get the lowest amount of fees because I'm doing same day shipping if they buy it before 10 a.m. or it's the next day. Yeah. And I do free returns, free 30-day returns. I think that actually helps me a lot. And a lot of people do. I think only 4% of every seller on eBay is only doing free returns. Only 4% of people. So that
really,
I think it's what Chris did a while ago. Well, they said probably over a year ago, maybe less now, maybe more now, but
I know. But sometimes does he just make numbers up?
Does he?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my God.
Don't, everyone, I'm just kidding. I love Chris. I'm just kidding.
Remember now, Chris makes every number up.
I'm glad this is live so that you can like fast forward and see that instead of like typing it out. Like Sarah's saying.
Smile. That if you want to get Chris
Sarah's saying about
show him this video because he doesn't smile very often. So once he watches this, he'll probably actually crack up laughing.
Oh, people say that. I don't know. I was when I was out in California, I got to like chat with, like, we met up in real life. And I don't know. Yeah, he was delightful. I guess
he's really sweet. He's really sweet.
Yeah, he's just not a smiling person. I don't know how that turned into. Oh, because I asked where you heard that from, and Chris. That's interesting.
I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't say it because now I'm questioning whether or not I heard it from him. But
well, so I'm wondering in the listing quality report, does it tell? I'll have to pull that and see if it. It's interesting. I'm interested to know what where that.
But to the point, it's been worth it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you need to. I think if you want to play around with it, then you should to see if it will work for you and what you want, and not be scared of what could be. Because I mean, that's what held me back from doing free returns. But then I did free returns, and then I never turned them off because I got more sales. You know.
And it is, and we're both in fashion, right? And I was scared coming from Poshmark. I was scared because I'm like, it's going to be for fit, and mine are for fit, absolutely. Yep. But like, I would do the same thing, because you even if you look at the measurements, it fits differently on each body, right?
Right.
Yep. But I don't know where I was going with this. It's still only 5%. Like,
yeah, mine's less than that, but yeah,
mine like wavers. It goes good and bad. And 5% to like have more sales.
Oh yeah, that's totally worth it.
Yeah,
because also I sometimes make a little bit money on shipping. I don't refund it. If I make $1 on top of shipping, I keep that money, and then whatever it kind of goes into, you know, if it gets returned, I don't return the original shipping because I do charge for shipping. So if you do free returns, you don't have to return their original shipping, and I don't unless I messed up. If I sent them something and I messed up and I got it back, I'm like, oh yeah, I sucked that day. I'm going to give you back your original shipping. But
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I didn't.
You ordered it to just try it on.
Yes, right, which is fine. Jen, what do you think? Because I know you're on eBay.
Yeah, are we talking about shipping now?
Or we can talk about whatever you want. But the question is,
I'm kind of in the same boat as Restyle Secrets. It seems really scary to promote because I know some of those suggested are high, like 10% and above. And yeah, that feels really scary to me. So I kind of cap everything at like 7%, but I kind of want to experiment. I don't.
So I will say, because I've been doing a lot of experimenting and showing videos on my channel in the past couple of months, trying to get my sales up and figure it out. So if you're wanting to figure out how to do it, there's lots of videos on my channel. You can like run campaigns and only do like try 10 out, right? Your 10, like I know Anna's doing her 10 highest because she's doing like her lowest items because the highest one she doesn't want to pay and she's willing to wait for someone to do that, right? Like you can try 15 and then there's a dashboard that will show you your data. So you don't have to jump all in and do all 2,000 of them and then be like, oh my God, my fees are 50%. Oh no, like, which they're not going to be. But I did a video and everyone was like, oh my God, they're 50%. And I was like, no, this chart is confusing. That's not what this is saying. I will say that I am a believer in it. I think it's absolutely worth the increase in sales. And I don't want to be the mom who's like, if everyone else is doing it, you have to do it. But that's what it is. Like if everybody else is doing it, you're behind now and your items aren't getting seen.
Well, that's why between like 2 and 4% aren't really working for anybody anymore because most people are doing between 2 and 4%.
Yes, they were working
right above that.
They used to, because I used to be at 2% and it was fine. And then it's, and I did talk to eBay about this because I was like, well, if this continues to go up, we are going to start paying like a lot. And that's going to be too much on the sellers. And they're like, we're aware, we're working on trying to figure out how to make it more manageable so it doesn't cost you guys as much fees. I was going to say one other thing in that. My fees are going up, I will say. Yeah. But they're still not Poshmark. So
yeah, mine go between 20 and 25%, which I'm okay with, honestly. Yeah. So
to get it moving too, right? Like,
yeah, it's not my inventory. I made a profit. I'm a happy girl.
Yes, right. On eBay, and I think it depends too on what you have. Like in our world, we're all fashion sellers. if you're the only collectible item out there, no,
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
do it. Like yours is the only item coming up.
If you sell rare stuff, you're good.
Yes.
Yeah.
On eBay, what do you do to move old, unsold inventory that just does not sell? Burn the items? I mean, sometimes I want to, right?
Delist and relist.
Delist and relist, yeah.
Yeah.
Sell similar, yes.
Yes.
I also have a video on that because I'm trying that out as well. This is something, in talking with Leslie a little bit earlier about the live shows, it's something that I'm contemplating doing for the live shows, because my average sale price is lower, but if I can just get rid of it all,
yeah.
But then I have to go find it all, which is time consuming, right? Like I have processes and it's all like in its bin and everything.
You're in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Don't you have like the best bins in the country? Like one of them, like in Colorado?
Yeah, because I'm trying to get up to Colorado to get to those bins.
Because I mean, there's so many people that live there. Like, I have the best bin.
You know.
Well, when you come, Leslie, you know you have to let me know. I think you were trying before COVID.
That's a given right there. That's totally good. 2023, we're going to do some traveling. Yeah.
I haven't been to the bin. I've probably been to the bins 3 times this year. I am I know. I'm a terrible. I'm the reseller that doesn't really like sourcing. So if y'all like the sourcing part and not the rest, send it my way. I will buy it from you. I
don't like sourcing either. But you're buying like people's closets and doing all those great things too, Sarah.
So if you're wanting to get rid of your closet, or if you're in Colorado and you like the bins and you don't want to list it, send me a DM. So Sarah, how do you improve your sell-through rate? This can go to everybody. So those who are watching, new to reselling, new to my channel, possibly, sell-through rate is how many items that you have sold out of how many you have for sale. So let's say you sold, I know you guys all know this, I'm just, let's say you have, and y'all have probably heard it like 10 times. I probably say the same easy math one all the time. You have 100 items, you sold 10 of them this month, your sell-through rate is 10%. So essentially sell-through rate is how many items you've sold. He's asking how to increase how many items that you're selling in a month. I'll let you guys, if you have any things to add to how do you increase your sell-through rate.
I don't really
finding more desirable items.
What's that?
Finding more desirable items.
Yeah.
Quality over quantity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a volume game. Finding things that are going to sell, ways that you, without just buying more stuff, you can run sales, you can promote your listings, you can send coupons, you can send newsletters. I'm talking eBay world here. Poshmark, you can attempt a closet clear out. Y'all are gonna like, come on.
Poshmark is the worst for trying to clear out stuff outside of selling offer to likers and doing a steep discount. That does work really well.
Yes.
It works. And then you have to get back into you just have to do the relisting game after that. So I'm not one for closet clear out. I've never been, because it's just
too much work.
Yeah, it's too much work. I'll do the offer to likers and let that 24 hours or whatever, and then that's an opportunity to relist that item, and then it may sell, or you may decide that that item is just no longer desirable at all and worth keeping. So now it's time to push it out or do something with it. I might upcycle it if it has some white, or if it's a white item, keep it away from me. If it's black, I'll bleach it.
Yeah.
I will say, so I'm messing with getting rid of old inventory in Poshmark live shows. And then Duncan, I mean, him have been talking about this. I have my oldest item ever. I haven't been doing sell similar. So I have old items that have been in eBay for years, and I just started, but my oldest item in eBay, I'm promoting the crap out of it. I did like 80% or something. Like, I'm doing it for a YouTube video. But I have been promoting older inventory higher because of that as well, and that's working as well. I would not do it at 80%. I'm purely doing this for a YouTube video to see what happens. It was a week ago though, and it hasn't sold. So
interesting.
I'll be
you have I want to answer Gina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I haven't got down that far yet. Wait, hold on. I think we skipped a question. And then we'll get to Gina. Can we? Because you have a whatnot. Oh yeah, what promoted listing ad rate should we use this week? Oh yeah, so he's just joking around.
He's just being funny.
It's funny. I mean, but he's having a good conversation though. That's the good thing.
Oh yeah. I love when he's in Australia, so he's not always at our lives. It's probably really early there right now, so I do appreciate it. I'm getting ready to add whatnot to eBay and Poshmark. So in addition, I'm assuming I'm not down with dollar starts. What do y'all think about pricing on whatnot? Great question.
I think you should price where you want to price. So this is the way that it works, because we were talking about Chris. He's like one of the early people who was invited to Whatnot, and he has excellent sales over there. And he actually has like people who use his platform and do sales. And you've got other people that I'm not going to mention their name. We just know we've been talking about Chris. And so what happens is the popular resellers who have gained, they've gotten up there and they're veterans, so they deserve the right if they do have their crowd. I have nothing against anyone who has 100 people on their show. So you can have like, Daily Refinement who starts an item at $1 and it's 100 people in there and they want it.
Yes.
So it's going to end up sold. I've been in one of Chris's shows where he started something at $1 and it sold for like $450. So he's doing excellent on Whatnot. Okay. So and other people. So you kind of have to get that mentality out of your head that you have to think about where you want to price where you want to price, and then do a whole show, see what happens, turn back around another day, do a whole show, see what happens. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So that's what I say all the time. Where you start, that's where people are going to recognize. If you start at $1, they're going to come in with that expectation of $1, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about that unless you jump to 1,000 followers and then the first 100 forget, they dropped off or whatever, and now you have a whole new group of followers. But don't do that. That's the same thing on Posh. If you want to start at $5, do it. There's an audience for everyone. I say that all the time. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you only need $100, jump in and do whatever makes you feel good. But if you want to make some money, do not undercut yourself by starting at $1. Don't worry about what other people are doing, because you came in and you thought that it was that type of spot, but it's not. I guarantee you, when my first sale, I actually started t-shirts at $5 in July. I did really well that first show and then built up from there. So from going from 300 followers from my first show up to past 2,000, now I can come in and charge what I want on Whatnot because my audience knows it, and I do handmade. So I
think too, it depends on what you're selling. Like
yes.
What I'm selling, if you start at $1, someone's probably gonna buy it for $1.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing special.
Exactly.
If you start I have Hustleby on a couple times, and he sells like really hyped up sneakers, and he's like, I start those really low because it gets a bidding, like he gets bidding wars going.
Got that down. Yeah.
I'm not getting bidding wars going. Like maybe I'll have a Free People top that someone has gone back and forth twice and it went up $3. Like,
and you have to be okay with that. And this is the thing also, because you're not a person who has 100 people. If you start your bid at $1, you have to be okay that it's going to sell for $1.
Yes.
Right. It may not be that tug of war. So you have to keep that in mind. You're not going to make any money on that. And definitely don't do that on Poshmark, please, because don't even do it. They're not going to you can't start bids under $3 anyway on Posh.
So you're not making anything because that's your fee. So,
but just try it out. Yeah.
I just had to add that comment in. I don't know when in the conversation this came up, but I just saw it.
Probably for the sales and stuff. Yeah, they are.
Piece of scrap question on eBay. Do you add the video in your description or above the images, pros and cons? Does anyone use videos on eBay?
Nope.
So I don't know. If you I don't. I've recently added them to Poshmark for my shows because I did a reel and I was like, oh, well, I have the video of me wearing this. I might as well put it in my show. And then when people are like, oh, what does that look like? There's a video of me during my live show, right? I don't think it's.
I'm enjoying your reels with that too. It's really cute. I hope you keep that red dress.
Oh, I sold it. It's so cute though, right? It was way too much cleavage for me to be comfortable going. Like something was going to come out. It was fine when I was like in my house. Like you can't wear a bra with it. And it was fine. And I'm power to all the people who do it. It was cute though. But I had in my live, I put a t-shirt on under it.
Yeah,
it was real cute too. But it's
little blouses under that kind of, deep V's all the time.
I have been using it on Poshmark. I don't know. Piece of scrap. What's that? Oh.
Victoria says, you look hot in that reel.
Oh, thanks. Y'all are the best. So now I was gonna say, if you send me a message, I do know someone who has used the videos, and I will ask them if I can send them your way and you can talk to them about it. I don't want to give their name out because they're not like social media people. But if you send me a DM, I will coordinate together for someone who has used it. What is a category that you want to learn more about over the next year? Oh, that's a good question. Anyone?
My everything's refreshing, so my screen went blank.
Oh, I was like, is everyone frozen, or is this just a really hard question?
I'm not sure. Like, I'm happy with clothing and handbags and shoes. I mean, I think I want to learn more, go more into men's fashion more, learn more about men's fashion. That is something I do want to learn more about.
Oh, Jen, you're muted. Hold on.
I was getting feedback earlier. Sorry.
Oh.
I want to learn more about Poshmark. I know that's not really a category, but I was thinking the other day that I would maybe jewelry, just because it's so small.
Yeah. It can do really well.
Yeah. There's a couple YouTubers that I follow that I think, oh, that's really cool. I bet I could find stuff like that. But
definitely jewelry. Yeah, you can definitely, go to thrift stores and find some really great, like, vintage pieces sell really well. Those plastic bracelets and all that good stuff. Really, you can bundle things together. So jewelry really works. I'm married to a man who sells men's clothes, so I know all about men's. But I'm like, for people who may have just coming in, I'm more into the retirement stage of my reselling. I'm a mom. I have a granddaughter now, and so I want to just I run my business very chill. I don't work a whole lot of processes. I work when I want to. So I do a lot of like designing and upcycling every Thursday. I'm tie-dyeing. I make jewelry twice a week. And then I do my shows. Right now, I'm working a little bit harder because I'm liquidating on Poshmark sales. So on my table, I have like ceramic cups and mugs and vintage toys and things like that. But once I move, it's just going to be like really relaxing for me. So I'm not interested in learning a whole lot in terms of that. But I am teaching more as well, too, doing a lot of DIYs and things like that.
I think I'm going to add to this too that it's not really a category. I feel pretty comfortable in where I'm at. I'll have people who sell different things on, or I'll watch stuff and I'm like, oh my God, I should totally like get into that. And then I think about it, I'm like, I don't want to learn anything. Like, I'm past that learning age. I don't want to. I like what I know and it's working, but I do want to improve upon it as best I can, whether that's with Posh live shows or maybe keeping reselling where it's at and leaning more into the mentoring and teaching and YouTube and social media. But as far as what I sell, I don't like, sometimes I'm like, I want to sell men's, and then I go down the things at the men's store, the aisles at the men's stores, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I would not want to go down the aisle of the men's store. I go to the bins. So.
Yeah. So at the bins, but I don't go to the bins really. At the bins, I will pick stuff up for sure. And I'll look it up because you're at the bins, right? We are about 3 minutes in, so let me see if we have 3 minutes left because I do pick up my kids after this. So tip on old stuff: ask yourself, would you buy it now? If not, dump that sucker.
Heidi.
I don't think if we have any last questions, I think we're good on questions. This is, I don't know. I think I have a live next week is things, but no. Friends, I'm sorry.
Next week is my anniversary. It's not Thanksgiving. It's the
mine, because we have the same anniversary.
And mine too. Mine's right by your guys'.
Mine's 19th.
Mine too. Is yours too, Leslie?
Yes, mine is the 16th.
Oh, 16. She's right before.
Ours is the same. Yeah.
Ours is the same. Yeah.
So,
I'm going on a girls' weekend for our weekend.
Oh, nice. Love it. Hey,
it's the only time we can make it work, and we've been trying to do it 6 months. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I have a YouTube live scheduled next Wednesday. I don't know, but I definitely have one on Friday with Anna. So we talk questions and answers too. If you guys have questions that you want to have answered. Oh, I knew we had one more question. How do you get daily sales on eBay?
List daily.
List.
At least 5 days a week. List at 5 days a week has been working for me to still get daily sales.
Yes.
Although this one's been a little weird. I've had a couple of days with nothing. I'm like, why?
Right. To me, again, a listing and activity help. Yeah. It's a numbers game. If you only have 5 items available, you're not going to get daily sales, right? If you have, back to my golden formula for spreadsheets, if you have so many items available and your sell-through rate is this, you're maybe not every single day, but you're going to overall get a certain number of listings. Go back to items that are going to get you that. And then you also have to like list them and list them well and promote them and sell them. And I have a list of the daily things that I do on eBay. List is number one. Ship. If you can ship every single day, becoming top rated seller is going to get you more exposure and is going to get you more sales because buyers want to see that, as well as top rated seller plus listings so that you have free returns. Sell similar. I do 5 days a week on Posh and on eBay. Promoting send offers daily helps, you know.
Also, in the notes of your sending offers, like on eBay, I put in there, I ship the same day if you pay before 10 a.m. in the PST and Pacific. And I also do free, no hassle return. So give your highlights of your store, whatever they are, in that. Make it yourself as desirable as possible to say, oh, well, if it doesn't work out, no problem. That's exactly what I say in there. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, I put the shipping daily. I've thought about putting the returns because I do accept them, but I don't want to encourage people to buy to try things out.
I don't think it hasn't been.
Yeah.
I haven't had a return in such a long time.
Oh,
and I've been promoting that for a while.
Yeah, maybe I'll try it.
So that they can.
It's worth trying.
Because they can, they can, but I don't want to be like, you were thinking about this? Here, try it on. And then
I mean, if they're gonna return it, they're gonna go to return to see their options anyway, and it's gonna pop up. Oh, Thrifty Broad offers free returns. Cool, you know.
Yeah, true. So you might as well encourage it.
You might as well promote it since they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, Duncan. What is a return? So that's our time. Thank you so much for joining.
I missed you, Duncan.
Definitely everyone you will ever have in your life.
I know, he's the best. Everyone's social media is down below. Absolutely follow. Yes, absolutely follow everyone. Last time I didn't have socials down below. So if that's the case, let me know. I don't do it on purpose. So if it's not down there, let me know either in the comments or if one of you guys see it, let me know. It's not intentional. Or if it's the wrong one. That's happened too. But thank you guys so much for joining. I will see everyone on Friday with Anna for our live. And then next week, I probably have a live too. So come back next week and see what it is.
It'll make you feel better.
Yeah, feel better. Tell Nick I said hey.
Oh, I will.